Oh, fellas! Righto. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm Nick from Australia. Welcome to the Rugby League Breakdown podcast, episode number 16. Tonight, I am joined by NRL Vid 090 and special guest, the GOAT, Entertain House in the house. Entertain House, bro, how you going?
Yeah, going good, mate. Bit tough during the lockdown period, and obviously rugby league moving to Queensland, but still get to watch the game around that weekend mark, and we're getting closer to it, so that makes me feel better. But yeah, it's been a tough couple of weeks down here.
Yeah, I can imagine, because you're obviously in that Central Coast area, aren't you? So that makes it a bit more difficult down there. So yeah, that's not fun down there. NRL Vid 090, how are you, mate? I'm not sure which part of New South Wales you're in, but I can imagine you're in that lockdown situation as well, mate. How are you, bro?
Yeah, I'm in that in a west sort of area in Sydney, so that's where I'm kind of like in lockdown at the moment. Off fun, but I'm going all right tonight.
Good to hear, mate. Well, we're here for the show. Warriors and our Fanatics was meant to be here, but he sent me a message saying that he had to go and have dinner or something. I'm going, come on, mate, come hang out with the boys. Leave dinner for later. I'm not having dinner until later, and I got work in the morning at 8 a.m. So dinner can wait for all I care. I want to get on here with the lads and talk some footy. But go to the chat. Everyone in the chat at the moment, there's a big take already. Sport Reaction in the chat says a hot take: Manly and Rabbitohs are better than the Panthers. Wow, that's a very interesting situation. I mean, if you watched my ladder predictor video on Monday night, I had ladder predictor from round 19 to round 25 plus finals, and I ended up with a Manly Rabbitohs grand final. So a lot of people were going off their rocket about that, but everyone's got their 2 cents. G'day everyone in the chat. Chat's going berserk. Absolutely fantastic.
I saw Sam Revel say that Brisbane got the 2032 Olympics in the chat as well.
Yeah, I just read that right now. Yeah, look, that's obviously a good thing. I'm looking forward to that. I don't think I'll be attending unless I feel like going up there, but you can't predict what's going to happen in 2032. But why not? Why not? It'd be a good time. Hopefully there's no more virus. But anyway, we got a few things to get into tonight. Not a whole lot to talk about. We've obviously in the green room before we started trying to figure out stuff to talk about. There isn't a whole lot going on at the moment. There's been a lot of rumors, but you can't really take rumors that seriously at the moment because there's a lot of bullshit going around. But we'll rip straight into it. Topic number 5 tonight. It's obviously over the weekend in the Warriors and Panthers game. Kane Evans on his wristband, he read "fold some cunt," which I find absolutely hilarious. I found it very funny. Some people were offended and gone on an absolute rampage about it, but I want to start with you, Entertain House, mate. What do you think about Kane Evans writing that on his wristband?
I think it was intended to be all fun and games, but I think it's been taken out of proportion the way it's been handled. But in the games these days, where it's probably more family friendly, I got 2 takes on this. One, it probably could have been saved for a Mad Monday situation. The Warriors having their own Mad Monday, something to come out. But then again, the way the media spreads things. It just could have been taken the way it has been now. So, look, I think things like this should stay out of the game. Even I think personally it's fine, but players having – I compare this to the situation where players have a beer in the sheds after the games, and some of the commentators are saying, oh, he shouldn't be doing that, and Kane Evans obviously shouldn't be doing this. But I think if it's outside of your club, even if it's photographed on like a Mad Monday, different story. But when you're around your fans, was this game had crowds as well, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Suncorp, yeah.
I think that factors into it. No crowds, you're still on camera, but you're basically, if you're doing this and you've got kids behind you saying that word, I just don't think it's encouraging. But I do think it was all in fun and games, in his opinion. But just the way has been taken is a bit poor.
That's a very good point, actually. You say that, there could be a young 12-year-old kid behind him in the front row. Maybe he wants to play footy. Maybe Kane Evans is one of his favourite players, and he sees that. He's going, Mum, Dad, what's that word supposed to mean? And then they tell him, and they go, whoa, maybe I shouldn't play footy anymore because of that. everyone does overreact about it, but I want to ask you, NRL Vid 090, do you think that's a good look for the game, or do you have no problem with what he said?
No, I don't like it. I'm not offended by it, but I don't like it at the same time because I feel like it's not mature, especially like, I guess a young NRL, sees that on one of their favourite players, like you mentioned before, and obviously they're not going to like it, and they're going to be, I guess a bit upset because, obviously it's not really a good look for the game. You have that sort of stuff written in your like wrist or whatever, but I guess it's not as bad as what I've seen before with other things, but yeah, I think it's NRL's taking it a long way at the same time, but I mean it's still poor. I mean, I think Evans should have known better.
What about Thorday jumping around the sheds, exposing himself in his undies and stuff? That's not a great look for the kids at home as well. It's all a bit of fun, but you just got to be careful in what you do and how you do it.
Oh wow. Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm live on YouTube.
Exactly.
Yeah, look, I'll tell you what I think about it. Look, I have two things on it. Obviously, it ain't a good look. It's not a good look at all. But I don't have a problem with it. I really don't. Because as a forward, your job is to go out there and fold some cunt. Like, seriously, like away from the cameras, when the boys are at training and they're in the sheds getting ready for the game, the forwards are probably in the corner going, oh, we're going to go out there, we're going to fold that cunt, we're going to go out there, we're going to whack him, we're going to take him out, whatever they're saying. So I don't necessarily have a problem with what Kane Evans said. I think the $5,000 fine might be a little bit over the top, but I understand where the NRL is coming from. I mean, it ain't a good look for the game, obviously, but I'm not offended as much as other people are. I've seen people online saying, oh, it's too far and all this. Look, they're rugby league players. They're pretty much going out there to fold someone. They're going to go whack someone. It's what they're going to go and do. I mean, writing it on your hand or whatever it was probably isn't the best thing to do, but I've seen worse situations than this before. So, I mean, it is what it is, I guess, but I've seen worse. I mean, Kane Evans fold some cunt. I just find it funny that he would say that on it. That he would have that written on him. I mean, is it supposed to be like a motivation thing to go out there and just get pumped for the game? I don't know, but
could be.
Do you guys think the fine's over the top, or do you think it's about right?
I think it's about right. I think it's definitely unacceptable in the sense of the way I've spoken about it. But like you, I'm personally not offended by it. But if we're thinking of the way the game is heading and the consistency of different things happening, I think it's about right. Anything more than $5,000, I think would have been ridiculous. But I think it's about right for what we've seen for similar situations.
Yeah, no, I agree. Anyway, let's move on from Kane Evans. Topic number 4. The Bulldogs. They've signed Tavita Pangai Jr. for next season. Before we get into that, he's going to go play for Penrith for the rest of the season. I believe James Fisher-Harris has gone to what was it? His wife's having a kid. His wife's pregnant. He's going to go see the birth of his child, so that's fantastic. Pangai Jr. to the Panthers for the rest of the year. Do we think that's a good signing for Penrith, or is it a desperate signing to try and stack their team? I feel like they're trying to stack their side a little bit here, but I don't know. What do you think, Entertainers?
I think it's an interesting signing. They've got a lot of talented back rowers already. Even Isaac Targo, for me, is someone who could come in and play that role. He's been fantastic off the bench. He's been dropped for a while. You've got Liam Martin, Kurt Capewell, obviously in those positions, as well as Kickow has basically secured that other spot. I think they've got a lot of depth in their side that they really don't particularly need to make this signing, but it might be a good thing for Tavita. He obviously hasn't been happy at Brisbane for a while. You can tell that. And he's got a lot to offer. So I think it's a good signing by the Bulldogs to get him for next year. 100% their team's looking good. And as for Penrith, I would say it's probably a desperate signing because you're going to need someone coming into finals. But at the same time, is it a great signing for their club? I'm just not too sure.
Yeah. What about you, NRL Vid 090? Are you a fan of this? Pangai going to Penrith?
I will say I'm not a fan of how you can have a player for a matter of months for the rest of the year. I'm not a big fan of that, but I guess at the same time, Pangai Jr. wasn't happy at Brisbane. I guess he wants to have a change and I guess go elsewhere from Broncos. So I guess I can't blame him for leaving the club, but I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of those sort of mid-season switches and especially when you're going to be for example Chad's and he's constantly going to be there till the end of the season. I don't think it's right personally, but it's how the game is now, I guess, and there's not much you can really do. But yeah, I think Pangai Jr. he will be good for the Panthers. He's going to bring a lot to that team. They've got a great forward pack with Leota, Capewell, Martin, and yeah, just his addition would be pretty much huge for the Panthers heading to finals. So it's good for Penrith, but I don't know if I'm a big fan of loan 3 months, whatever it is.
This is such a desperate signing from Penrith. I don't understand why they would want to collect Tavita Pangai Jr. I mean, it's the same as the Chad Townsend one. Obviously, Chad Townsend he signed with the Cowboys for next year, and he's gone to the Warriors for the rest of the year. Why doesn't he just go to the Cowboys now? Why go to the Warriors? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Now, Pangai, I mean, going from the Broncos to the Panthers, I mean, if the Panthers win the premiership this year and Pangai's in that 17, people are going to go off their head. People are going to lose their shit. That's just ridiculous. Imagine it's like if Regan Campbell-Gillard was at the Eels all year, but then he went and jumped ship to Melbourne and won a comp there. People would lose their shit. This is the same thing. Pangai Jr. is going from a side that's sitting in the bottom 4 to a side that's sitting in the top 2. I mean, I know it's only for about 8 weeks of the season, and then he's going to Canterbury next year to try and help that side rebuild and get better, but I don't understand why the Panthers would want him. I mean, they've got so many good young forwards right there at the moment. Scott Sorensen's another one who doesn't get mentioned. He's done the job all year off the bench for him. And, I mean, I think it's stupid. But in a sense of it being stupid, I understand where they're coming from because if you want to win the grand final and you play Melbourne and you play all these big sides, you want to have the best possible team as you can get. So I understand where Ivan Cleary's coming from here, but I don't like it. I just feel – you're going to go to a side in Penrith. He's probably going to play about 20 minutes a game, and he may win a grand final now. He has a good chance to win a comp. Now, Sam Revel just read a good thing in the chat. If Sonny Bill won a comp last year when he went to the Roosters, people would have lost their shit as well, and that's absolutely true. So I think it's desperate signing, and everyone talks about the Penrith juniors and all that. Yeah, great junior system, but why do you need to buy a player who can be an unbelievable forward on his day? I think it's crazy. I don't know what they're doing. I do not like it at all. But Ivan Cleary's got a plan, and I mean you've got you've got Kickout, Capewell, Martin, Fisher Harris, Leota, Sorensen, Spencer Linu, Isaac Tago, like you were saying, Entertain House. They've got all these forwards, and now they need Pangai. What? Why? If anyone needed Pangai, it would have been a club that's just fighting for the top 8. So a club like
the Dragons,
Titans, Cronulla. The Cowboys could even use someone like Pangai at this point with the forwards they have. Clubs like who else is there around? Even Newcastle. I
was going to suggest that David Clemmer and Tavita Pangai Jr. could be a good trade.
Well, yeah, that could be that could be a good trade because I don't think David Clemmer will be at the Knights next year. But yeah, look, I don't like Pangai going to Penrith, but Canterbury on the other end, I love him going to Canterbury. He's going from one struggling side to another. Gus Gould's going to be the new general manager of football for the Dogs. The Dogs are signing some players. Let's talk about the Bulldogs, actually. So next year, my God, they're looking good next year. But the question is, will they get it right? Will they get it right? And next year, now, I don't want to sound negative, and I don't like being negative, but the Bulldogs next year is reminding me of the Titans so far this year. It really is. Buying all these players but not having enough pieces. Do the Dogs have enough pieces for next year? We'll start with you, Entertainers. Obviously, you are liking the Dogs next year by the looks of you, but
okay, so going into the earlier signings of Burton and Addo Carr, I thought, okay, this team will improve, but they will still struggle. and I probably had them maybe around 10th position, improving, but still not pushing for the 8. I have to say, though, with the signings that they've had, especially with Tavita Pangai Jr., I think this team's going to make the 8, but I've got a big call that I don't know if you guys are going to agree with. So I haven't done next year's predictions yet. Right now, I've got them around 7th. My big call is that Josh Adokar is going to have an extremely quiet season. They are going to work as a team around the players that they've got in their halves, and their forward pack is going to lead to points, and not enough balls going to be Adokar's way. Everyone's going to think they're going to be making the 8 because of Adokar's try-scoring points. I'm going the opposite. Bulldogs to make the 8 because they've got a strong forward pack, and they're going to be a very different side next year. It's going to be interesting because I don't. They've got Kotrick out for the season as well. Sport Reaction has literally just mentioned him as I was about to speak to him. There's so many backline players that can just do the job and fit in. And look, they're still coached by Trent Robinson, who's not Trent Robinson, Trent Barrett, who isn't the greatest coach in the world, but this team is going places. And they're reminding me right now, even though they haven't got their new players, of the 2019 side. Yeah, they're not getting wins on the board like giant killers, but they're scoring points against quality sides. They're scoring points against the Roosters. Yeah, they were under strength, but the Dogs were up for it. Yeah, the Rabbitohs were under strength, but the Dogs were up for it. The Dogs led them at halftime. So I'm excited for Canterbury fans because I think that they're going to be pretty damn close, if not making the 8 next season.
Yeah, look, they're a very interesting team next year, the Bulldogs. I still have a bit of a concern about the number 9 position and the number 6 position. Now, Matt Burton will come in and play probably 7, I'm assuming. He's a better halfback than Averillo. Now, I would like to see Burton go with Flanagan in the halves, Averillo in the centres, and maybe go that way. But about what you said about Adokar having a quieter year next year, now, I can see that happening. I really can. You look at the Melbourne Storm, you got Munster, Pabanow's, and all these sort of players. You can get the border Adokar along with Justin Olam in the centres. He won't have anything near that next year, so it could be an average year for Adokar. It definitely could be, but their 2019 run at the back end of the year compared to this year, I mean, the Dogs may get a few wins together. I mean, they definitely could get a couple of wins and try and avoid that wooden spoon, but I don't see them winning another game this year, to be honest. That's just what I think. But next year's looking good for the Dogs. Now, I was having a good thing about their backline today. I was thinking the backline next year, it could be Dufty, Adokar, Naden, Averillo, Kotrick in the halves, Matt Burton and Kyle Flanagan. To me, that's a fast and attacking backline than what they've had in previous years. So I hope they get their shit together because it's weird for me to see the Bulldogs going so shit because growing up as a kid, Bulldogs are always in the top 4, top 8. They're always there in the finals. To see them going so bad in the last couple of years, it's a bit strange for me to see that happening because they're normally a top 8 side when I'm watching the Dogs. So it'll be interesting to see how they go next year, and hopefully for their sake they can finish off the year strong. But NRL Vid 090, mate, what are you thinking about the Bulldogs for the back end of the year and going into next year with their new signings?
Look, I think they are building pretty well, the Bulldogs. I think they have the right players there next year. I think Duffy's a good signing at fullback. Adokar will go really well, in my opinion. Burton's a good signing. But like you mentioned before, Nick, I think I do need a better dummy half. Marshall King is solid. I think he is pretty solid, but he's not like that. I don't know how to put it, but not that top tier sort of hooker. He's not that fantastic. He can do a job for you, but he's not that fantastic overall. And I think they might need a sign quality dummy half, but I like the look of that Bailey Beyonde Otto. I think that's how you say it, Beyonde Otto.
Yeah.
I really like of him. I think he's really good. Yeah, I think he's going to have a good future. I reckon if he gets more games. And I feel like at the back end of this year as well, they're always going to run, when there's about 5 or 6 games to go, they're always going to that sort of run at the back end of the year. But unfortunately, they can't bring any of that good form into the next season, unfortunately. We've seen 2018, 2019, and a bit of 2020. Like, every time they have that sort of good run at the back end of the season, they can't ever bring it that sort of confidence, that winning feeling into the next season. So that's one of the only issues there. Look, I think Trent Barrett is building something at the Bulldogs. I feel like, he's got a good forward pack. I think RFM and Pango Jr. should be in the back row next year. That's a very good back row there. Jackson at lock, and then up front, Tomlin and Hetherington, or I think it is. But they're building really well, the Bulldogs. And I think they will be a lot more better. I can't see them finishing the bottom 4 next year. I think they'll finish at least 10th to 8th at this rate. Yeah, I'll put the way and see, because they are looking good.
I need to mention this because it's about the Bulldogs as well. Gus Gould, he's going to be the general manager of football, effective immediately, I'm pretty sure. Will Gus be able to make the Bulldogs a better side? Will he be able to fix the club up, fix the salary cap and all that? What do you reckon, Entertain Us?
I'm not too sure about this one. Gus has had a few different plans with different clubs over the years, and sometimes we've seen it go well, sometimes not so well, though. So I don't know, because it's interesting. He came out about 3 weeks ago with a statement saying, I will not help the Bulldogs get out of the way that they're in. I was offered a deal. So, it really questions me as to what changed Gus's mind, what happened. And I got to say, I reckon your team, NRL Vids, Lorenzo, I reckon that the Manly Seagulls beating the Dogs 66-0 really woke not only Gus Gould, but the Canterbury team to reach an agreement that you guys are in trouble. And look, I want to help your club. I can see that you're not the same club you were, and they've put plenty of points on the board lately. So look, he definitely could be the right man for the job. I would trust maybe 8 games. I would say it would require 8 games next season to see if he was making a difference. I think it's similar situation where Andrew Johns comes to the Eels as defensive coach, and everyone questions it. Is he the right man? And I can tell in the last 2 years that after 2 seasons that Mitchell Moses' defence has been outstanding. And those type of qualities come from Andrew Johns. So if Gus Gould knows a lot about the game, which he does, he's got a lot to offer the Canterbury Bankstown side in 2022.
I'm glad he's going to the Dogs. I'm glad he's back at the Dogs. It's pretty much home for Gus, so I don't think it will be an issue for Gus. I don't know where NRL Vid 090 has gone, but he'll be back in a second, I'm assuming. But look, I think the Dogs are going to be interesting. You have a look at earlier this year, right? Everyone hyped up the Titans, and they bought all these players. They bought Tino and Fafita, 2 of the best young forwards in the competition. Now the Bulldogs, they just bought Gus. They're buying a bunch of players. I don't know if they're going to be top 8 next year. I think they're going to be one of those teams fighting, that 7 to 12 position on the ladder, somewhere between that. I just don't know if I have all of the I don't know if I have the right balance just yet in 1 year. It'll take a few years, I think, for the Dogs, but I think they're definitely in a step in the right direction. But NRL Vid 090, do you think Gus Gould will be a good addition for the Bulldogs?
Look, he should be. I mean, you look at the history he's had with the club. He's done obviously really well. He's had a lot of success there. I do question at the same time, is he there for the money, or is he there to actually help the club? Because he's getting a lot of money for the next 3 years, Gus. I mean, you got to really think if it's for the money for the next couple of years he's there, or is it really to help the Bulldogs be like a better team and just go about business like a lot we have in the past. Like, that's one thing I'm really thinking about at the moment. But look, I reckon he'll do the good there. I think he will bring those juniors up from Canterbury, and I think he will make sure the club is in a healthy state for the next couple of years. And so I think he'll go well. I really do think so, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how the Bulldogs go. Hopefully Gus can make him a better side, but I guess we'll see what happens next year with the Bulldogs. This year forms a complete write-off. They're currently last on the ladder. They're 2 wins and 15 losses. They need 2 wins to get off the bottom of the ladder. They need Brisbane to lose every game, and pretty much if the Broncos win one more game, the Bulldogs avoiding the wooden spoon would be pretty much impossible. So I think the Bulldogs are going to finish last or second last anyway. But we'll move on, fellas. Topic number 3. Now, this is a bit of a interesting topic. Will any of the top 8 sides lose their coach at the end of the year? So the current top 8, Melbourne, Penrith, Souths, Parramatta, Sydney Roosters, Manly, Dragons, Sharks. Now, we know Craig Fitzgibbon's coaching the Sharks next year, so take the Sharks out of the equation for a minute. And all the other 7 teams, will any of their coaches get the sack no matter what happens in the finals? So Craig Bellamy, Ivan Cleary, Wayne Bennett, Brad Arthur, Trent Robinson, Des Hasler, and Anthony Griffin. Will any of them get the sack after the finals, depending on how they go? So, for example, if Parramatta go out in straight sets again, will Brad Arthur will he be sacked? Will Trent Robinson be under pressure if the Roosters go out the first week? I'm interested in this one because all I hear about with the top 8 and the coaches is Brad Arthur. If the Eels make the top 4 again, which I think they're probably going to just hang on to the top 4 this year, if they go out in straight sets, will Brad Arthur be sacked? I want to ask you, entertainers, you're an Eels fan. You know what goes on at Parramatta. What do you think about this?
I don't think he will. I did the ladder predictor like you fairly recently via my TikTok, and I had Parramatta going out in straight sets in the second week to the Sea Eagles, and I've got the Sea Eagles making a grand final appearance with the Storm. There's one coach you mentioned that he's arguably one of the best coaches in the NRL, but his team has been a little bit questionable and a little bit off. And I think, especially with the whole situation that we're currently in with COVID and this team, what they went through with outbreak in their area, I wouldn't say he's in danger of being sacked, but I would say that Bondi would keep their eye on Trent Robinson. He's been in the club for years. He's brought them premiership, and it kind of reminds me of Ricky Stewart in that sense of he's had a lot of success for the club, done a lot for them. They love him. But are the choices he's making and are the players that he's building going to be right for the future? Because I'm going to call it now that I don't think the Knights will win this week, but there's going to be some games that the Roosters are not going to expect to lose in the next 6 weeks that they're going to lose. The Roosters are really dropping off as a club. They'll definitely be playing finals footy. I have them losing against the Knights in week 1 of the finals. I think Newcastle can make a run with Ponga and the side that they've got. But keep your eye on Trent Robinson. Not going to say it's going to happen this year. I think Brad Arthur's fairly safe for the most part. I think it's more Eels fans saying what you've heard in regards to the club. They are disappointed, but I'd say that he's fairly safe. Ivan Cleary, he's just done a great job at Penrith. And Anthony Griffin, he's only fairly new to the coaching game, so I don't think you can sack him that early with, especially the re-signing of Jack de Belin. Bringing Jack de Belin after all that drama back to the club and turning into him a great player. I think Anthony Griffin's done a pretty good job this year. Yep.
What about you, NRL Vid 090? Any coaches in the top 8 under pressure?
No, I don't think so. I really don't think so. I feel like everyone's going to be keeping their job after finals ends. I guess if you were to pick the one under pressure coach, I mean, it's Brad Arthur, obviously, because I guess he's been there in the finals a couple of times, like 2017, 2019, and 2020, where they've won, the first week of finals, but then next week they often lose. So I guess that's a pattern there. So I guess that's maybe concern for Arthur, but at the moment, I don't really see anyone that's under pressure. Like I really don't.
I'm gonna say it's hard to say who's under pressure and who isn't, because again, it's all speculation. But yeah, Brad Arthur probably is under pressure because of he's got him to the finals and he's got him to the wooden spoon before and he's got him back to the finals again. So he has had some up and down moments. But I got to say, with the Roosters, Hayden, what you said about the Roosters, I kind of disagree because they have lost a lot of players. They lost Boyd Cordner, Jake Friend, Brett Morris, one of the best wingers in the game, in the world of all time, maybe Brett Morris. Cordner retired, Jake Friend. Luke Keary, probably the most important player. I've lost so much. Sawali's gone for the year as well. That they just keep getting injuries and suspensions. So for them to currently be sitting real late at the moment on the ladder fifth, somehow fifth on the ladder still with all the injuries is a remarkable effort. I mean, I think if there is a year the Roosters are expected to fade off in the finals, then this is probably the year for them to drop off because I think next year they're going to be a lot better when they get Keary back and Sam Walker will have a full preseason under him and Tedesco will be there, and the Roosters will be in scary as next year. But I think Brad Hart was under the most pressure. You know, I just feel Melbourne and Penrith, they're obviously expected to be there. Wayne Bennett's not coaching Souths next year. Des has done a good job this year with the Seagulls. I got to say, though, Coach of the Year, if the finals were next week, Coach of the Year for mine would have to be Anthony Griffin. I mean, have a look at the Dragons. Everyone said they'd be wooden spoon, bottom four at the start of the year. They're currently 7th on the ladder. They're 8 and 9. They're probably going to make the 8 if they can hang on to the top 8 spot. If Dragons make the top 8, Griffin's Coach of the Year for mine. But I
think Craig Bellamy gets it. I think just based on the Storm's recent record breaks, just what they've been doing, especially without a lot of their players, and to score the most points in the first 16 rounds or whatever, and be 14 straight wins, I think we are. They had back-to-back losses, now 14 straight wins. Yeah. I think it's going to be pretty hard to take it away from Craig this year.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I mean, Bellamy will probably win it, but I think Anthony Griffin's got to be like most improved coach or whatever, but he's been unbelievable this year. And, you know, if you're talking about most disappointing coaches, I mean, there's a few of them. Todd Payton's been disappointing. I got to say, Holbrook's been disappointing. Adam O'Brien as well. You know, Ricky Stewart, they haven't been at their best for coaching-wise. But I got to say, like, I think Brad Arthur's probably the most under pressure because of how Parramatta have gone the last couple of years in the finals. You know, everyone wants them to do well. Like, I'll be honest with you, all the teams that are in the top 8 right now, I want Parramatta to win the combat, all of them. I want them to win the damn thing. I want them to go all the way. But the problem with getting rid of Brad Arthur is who the hell do you replace him with? Because there's no one great on the market right now. There's literally no one amazing out there. So go the Eels in the finals anyway. Hopefully they go well this year. I want them to win it. I really do. But we'll move on from that. Topic number 2. Now, this is an interesting one. Paul Vaughan. Obviously, we all know what Paul Vaughan did. I don't need to talk about it because we all know what happened there. I guess the real question is, will Paul Vaughan find a new NRL club before the end of the season? I want to ask you about this one in Tanehouse. Do you think he will, or do you think he'll have to wait?
I reckon he could. I reckon that Canberra could be thrown in the mix. Now, Ryan James was bought by Canberra. He has now been dropped out of the 17. I think he's a good player with a lot to offer. I think the Raiders forward pack with Papali'i and Harawira Naira looks nice, and I could see Paul Vaughan being chased by Canberra. If he signs to the Bulldogs, I know you've got them out of your top 8, but I tell you what, they're just looking better and better, and I'd lock him in around that 7th, 8th position if he signed with the Bulldogs. But I think we'll see him find a club. I don't think he'll be off to England. He's definitely got a lot of footy to offer. Workhorse, does the job. Whether it will be next season, though, that'll be the interesting thing. I could see Paul Vaughan maybe being someone who plays either reserve grade or local footy next year before his skill just gets better and better because he's got so much to offer in his career still. But I'm going to say that it won't be this year. He's not going to find a club this year, and it's going to happen in the off season. That's my prediction.
Yeah, and I've got to say, even though what he did was bad, I mean, there has been worse things happen before, like drunk driving, getting into a fight at the pub. There's been worse situations than what Paul Vaughan did. What he did was dumb and stupid, fair enough. But there has been worse things that have happened, but I got to say, I can name a few clubs that need a really good front rower at the moment. I mean, you've got the Tigers. They're missing that really good front rower. The Cowboys are missing a good front rower. Canberra, like you said, would be a good fit with him and Papali. That would be great. The Dogs, apparently the favourites to pick him up. That would be good. Him and Luke Thompson together, that could be a nice combination. Hell, even like, Parramatta. I mean, why not? Parramatta could even be a good fit for Paul Vaughan. Off the bench, imagine the impact. Paul Vaughan and Nick Corey off the bench, that could be, and Sean Lane, that could be awesome impact. But there are a few clubs out there that definitely could use his services. There's no doubt about that. What about you, NRL Vid 090? You think Paul Vaughan will find a club?
Well, I heard he was poised to join Canterbury, like, effective immediately, like, or the next couple of weeks at least, because that's where I was hearing he might be heading, like, really to Bulldogs for him. But apart from that, I really do think he will get a club in the preseason, like, not this year right now, but I reckon in the off season he'll get a club. I'd say most likely, like, maybe Cameron Hayden said, like, I think that's a good shout there. Maybe them. Another club, maybe Broncos. I mean, Broncos need a couple of good experienced forwards, but again, do the Broncos want more trouble with that club? That's the problem. So that's the only clubs that could really use Vaughan, even Super League, but I can't really see him going over there. So that's what I reckon.
Yeah. No, fair enough. I mean, it'll be interesting to see where Paul Vaughan ends up. I hope he finds another club because, the three clubs that I think need Paul Vaughan, I think the Bulldogs need Paul Vaughan, the Cowboys need Paul Vaughan, and probably the Tigers. They're the three clubs that really need that other front row because you look at the Cowboys, Jordan McLean, yuck. I've had enough of his shit. I want him out. Yuck. I'd rather have fucking Josh Maguire back at the club. I'm so sick of McLean. But anyway, we'll move on from that. Otherwise, I'll be here all night rambling on about McLean. Topic number one, the final topic of the show before we get into our preview for the round of footy. The West Tigers documentary. This is something I'm really keen to talk about. Now, if you guys haven't watched it, it was on Fox League. What was it? Was it Monday night it was on? Was it Monday night?
Monday, yeah.
Monday night, like 7:30 p.m. on Fox. The West Tigers documentary, Michael Maguire. I got to say as well, full credit to the West Tigers for doing this. I thought it was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. What you see from the coach and the players on game day and behind the scenes is absolutely fantastic. I want to start with you, Entertain House. What do you think about the Tigers documentary and what did you get out of it?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Going into it, I didn't think I'd watch it. I didn't have much care for it, to be honest. I thought it was cool, but I thought it might have been better to see maybe a Penrith documentary and how they turned their club around and made that grand final appearance and then destroyed in the sheds after. But I think the Tigers are a really up and down club that, and I think this was a wake up call for the Tigers fans that, they haven't made the 8 after all these years, but there's been a couple wins this season that you probably wouldn't have expected them to get. And just the way that Michael Maguire handles situations, you got to have a bit of respect for him. As a coach, I think he's been under a lot of pressure this year. And I think I've been a bit harsh on the Tigers. I think I don't know. I feel like I do hate the Tigers at some sense, but at the same time, I think I've been a bit harsh on them. And I think the documentary had a lot of heart, some nice coarse language from Michael Maguire.
Oh, how good was that?
I think one thing it's missing is, and we saw a little bit of it, but maybe the players who step up. I think we've seen like Luke Brooks and Nofaluma speak, but it would be cool to see those players really. Like I remember there was a moment where he said, who was that? Let me know who that was that got all the boys together after there was a try, I think, in round 2.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it though.
What was your favourite part about it?
Well, I think just seeing that experience from in the coach's box, we see moments where they're angry or they're heaps happy, but they never show, and obviously they're not allowed to, the whole situation being planned. Like let him know that he'll be coming off now and we're going to get him on the bench. He's going to have a big run. Tell him to run that ball, just the way that Michael Maguire has been coaching, which all clubs definitely do. I think it was really good to see that insight that we really don't get to see. We saw it in 2019 with the Eels and Manly game. I can't remember if you saw that. We did see it in the Sheds version of that. But I'm looking forward to episode 2.
I am as well. I'm pumped for it. I can't wait for it. I'll be sitting there with my glass of Coke and maybe some toast. I don't know, whatever I feel like eating at the time. Maybe some bloody popcorn or whatever. But I'm looking forward to it. What about you, NRL Vid 090? Obviously, you're a Manly fan, and you probably don't care about it too much. But what do you think of the Tigers documentary?
Yeah, so I watched it. I watched the whole thing on Monday. I think it was okay. I think it actually was, because I liked seeing what Madge was behind the scenes. I always knew that Madge was a pretty aggressive coach, and we did see that pretty much during the documentary. But at the same time, this is just my opinion only, but I feel like these documentaries are a real distraction, in my opinion, for clubs. I think it's a distraction, in my opinion, because I think when you look at Titans documentary, I feel like, when they go through the whole season, like saying that Titans are on the up and Titans, will be one of the best clubs in the near future, I think it's kind of got to them, and it's really put them off their game ever since they had that documentary. So, and with Tigers, obviously, I mean, in the documentary, the expression of the club's problems, and I guess that could get to the players. It makes it more obvious, that there's problems there, could really put some of the players off. So that's just my there. But I thought it was good. I did think it was actually all right. It was entertaining.
Yeah, look, I thought it was a great documentary. I got to say, I am actually really glad that Fox and Fox League actually showed the swearing, because normally in most documentaries they'd bleep it out. But I'm glad they showed it. It showed that Michael Maguire is very passionate about the West Tigers. He wants them to do well. I think it showed the leadership as well from James Tarmo and a few of the other leaders there. But I think it's a bit of a concern when your team goes so shit, but it shows a lot of the leadership. So if you're looking good in leadership, you're leading by example, you're doing all the little things right, but then you go out there and play a game of football and you get beat 40-6. I mean, that'd be pretty frustrating. And I've got to say as well, the Tigers-Raiders game in round 1, where Maguire was up in the coach's box, and I think the Raiders scored that try, and Madge was like, fuck, no, or something he was saying. I thought it was awesome. You know what? I really enjoyed the West Tigers documentary. I'm looking forward to next week's episode, and I got to say, what I got out of it, coaching would be a very, very frustrating and tough job. Very tough job. So, I'd love to be a coach one day myself, but I'd have to have a lot of good guys around me. I don't know how they put up with it. I mean, I can imagine the coaches wake up at 2-3 a.m. and they're writing down set plays on a piece of paper, and they're taking it into work the next day. So, I thought it was a really good documentary. I've got to say, one thing that I found a bit funny, I don't know if you guys would agree with this, not having a shot at Adam Doueihi, I think, is a great player. When Justin Pascoe said in the documentary that Adam Doueihi could be a future captain of the club, I don't like that personally. I think that's stupid. But I think the Tigers, they show a lot of good things about them in the documentary, but I don't think they have enough leaders. I don't think they have enough, big leaders in that side to get them to where they should be. And it'll be interesting to see how they go. Someone just said, I'd love to see Nick as a coach. Yeah, I'll probably lose my mind every 2 minutes, so it's probably not a good idea. But I thought it was a great documentary. I'm really looking forward to it on Monday night. I'm really keen for it. Really keen. Righto.
So, yeah,
let's move on. Let's get into round 19 of the NRL. So what we'll do, we'll go for each game, and I'm just going to ask your tip, whether it be 1 to 12 or 13 plus, and just throw an anytime try scorer in there as well while we're at it. So Thursday night, round 19 of the NRL kicks off tomorrow night at 7:50 p.m. up at Seabus Super Stadium on the Gold Coast. It is the Eels up against the Raiders. Parramatta are $1.20. Canberra at $4.50. Entertain House, what do you reckon for this one?
I think Para will be too good for the Raiders. Both halves missing will make it interesting and could even up the battle. I've taken Para by 16. I'm just trying to remember who I went with first try scorer. I had it with me last night, and I don't have the note here because I wasn't expecting this. Anytime try scorer, I think Matt Tomoko off the bench for the Raiders. I think he'll make a bit of impact, so taking him for an anytime. Let me just give me 1 second. You can give your take NRL vids for the game, and I will check who I had as first try scorer. I'll see the name, and I'll remember straight away.
Yep,
Isaiah Papali'i. That's it.
Ooh, nice. Go on, NRL vids.
Good call. So I'll take Para 13 plus. My first try score. I think he said Blake for first try. I believe he'll come back and get a first try. And anytime try scorer, I reckon it'd be Ryan Madison.
Oh,
good shout.
I was all over him last week. He won me some money. I was all over him. Righto. I'm going to go Parramatta 13 plus. I reckon that'd be too good. Parramatta can't see Canberra winning without Whiten and Savage. Robiner at fullback is a concern for mine, even though Parramatta's halves aren't the best with Brown and Arthur. They'll get the job done. They'll be very professional. Governson will play a bit of first receiver and second receiver around the halves. So Parramatta for mine, 13 plus. And I reckon Blake Ferguson will get a double tomorrow night. He'll be back, make a statement saying that I should never have been dropped. So go the Eels, 13 plus, Ferguson double. So we're all going Parramatta in that one. Friday night footy, kicking off at 6 o'clock up at Sunshine Coast Stadium in Queensland. It's the Sydney Roosters versus Newcastle Knights. Roosters are $1.30. Newcastle at $3.50. What about you? This one entertaining us? I reckon this game might be closer than what people think.
I think this will be a really good game of footy. Interesting teams. Knights almost full strength besides Mitchell Pearce out for Phoenix Crosland. Drew Hutchinson's, I've got a lot of question marks over him, so I'll give the Knights a chance here. But I like the Roosters 1-12 here. It's paying $3.30. Really, really juicy price. I also like the Knights to score first, so I'm going to take Kurt Mann, first try scorer in the match. And I think my anytime try scorer was Satili Tupanua, 26-18 Roosters.
That's a good one. Actually, Hayden, bro, I'm sure me and you got the same score for that game. I swear I had that score as well.
Oh, really?
I'm sure of it. But anyway, NRL vids, Roosters or Knights?
Roosters 1-12. First try scorer, I went with Billy Smith. I think he's been going really well, getting a couple lately. And anytime try scorer, I'll go with Connor Watson, and I'll go with Sam Verrills.
Oh, Sam Verrills, I backed him last week.
And you know what? I reckon this is the game of the round. I really do. I think it's the game of the round. I really think it is. This is going to be tough. I think Newcastle are a chance. But I'm with you. Roosters 1-12. I reckon Drew Hutchison will score. I reckon he'll get one. Hutchison. I've actually been liking him. I'm not going to lie. I've actually been liking him lately. He's actually been okay. I don't think he's been terrible. He's doing what he's told. Just go out there, making tackles and run the ball. He's actually been doing an all right job. So I'll go the Chuggies 1-12. Hutchison to score a try at any time. Friday night footy, 7:55 up there in Townsville. Cowboys and Storm. Storm $1.05, Cowboys at $10. Yeah, we all know what's going to happen here. The Cowboys are going to be put in the morgue after this. It ain't going to be pretty. What do you reckon at the Tone House?
I went the Storm by 16, 32-16, but now Hamiso's out because I had him for an anytime try. This game could be really, really ugly. I'm going to go Kenny Bromwich to score the first try, Storm back rower. And I don't know who's going to score at any time now for the Cowboy. Maybe Connolly Lemuelu. He likes to score at home, so maybe Connolly will get a try.
Go on, NRL vids. I'm going to be sick. God.
Storm 69 plus, probably. And my first try scorer, I backed Tui Kamakamika for first try. It's a bit different, but I think he'll score. And my anytime try scorers, probably Addo Carr, and I reckon the debutant Kane Bradley will going to try.
Yeah. I really don't want to talk about this game. I feel sick just looking at it. I mean, you put this game on a Friday night, Channel 9, Fox, you fucking idiots. How dare you put this game on free TV? This is going to be like football training. Look, the Cowboys are going to get killed. I had Melbourne 54-4 my tips. Hammer's not there now, so I feel like it's going to get worse. I really do. It's going to get worse. I'm going to go Melbourne 74-0. This is going to be a fucking bloodbath.
Jesus.
The Cowboys are going to be put in the fucking morgue after this game. You might as well get
even with Cooper Johns in the halves for Munster. Really?
He'll have 5 try assists. He'll have a field day. The Cowboys are going to get smoked. This is going to be a fucking bloodbath. Get each Cowboys player that's named this weekend into 17 and write down, get their coffins written and get their name written on their coffin. They're going to get fucking destroyed.
Enough doom and gloom. Let's move into the next game.
Yeah, look, I'm going Storm 13 plus. Olam hat trick and Kamikame for double. That's what I'm going with.
Do we know who's fullback for the Cowboys?
I'll tell you.
It says Hammer on the website.
It's going to be Drinkwater apparently, and Dejan Assia will go into the halves.
Okay.
That's what I'm hearing. Anyway, we'll move on. South Sydney, Super Saturday, kicking off at 3 p.m. up at Sunshine Coast Stadium. I reckon this will be a good game. The Rabbitohs up against the Warriors. The Rabbitohs are $1.15 here. The Warriors at $5.50. This game has potential to be very good. What do you reckon about this one, Entertain House?
This will be a one-sided Rabbitohs affair here. Rabbitohs are without Alex Johnston, but they're going to win big, 30-6.
Oh shit!
Yep, 30-6. I'm going to take Marcelo Montoya as the try scorer for the Warriors at any time, and my first try scorer. Shit, I forget who I went. Cody Walker. Cody Walker, first try scorer.
What about you, NRL Vids, for this one?
Yeah, look, South should be too good, but it'll be high scoring, I reckon, the game. Like, it'll be a high scoring game, fair few points. So for first try scorer, I think I went Dane's try. And anytime try scorers, I've got Dallin with Lesniak, and I believe Tuggy will get a double.
Wow. Ooh. I like it. I reckon this game could be close. I think it'd be high scoring. I think the Warriors have got points in them. I'm going to go Souths 1-12, like maybe something like 32-20. I reckon Latrell Mitchell will get a double in his return. Latrell double, Souths 1-12. Should be a good game, though. I reckon it'll be a very entertaining game. Now, the first game, the double header up at Suncorp Stadium on Saturday night, kicking off at 5:30 p.m. It is the Manly Warringah Seagulls versus the West Tigers. Manly are $1.15, Tigers at $5.50. What do you reckon about this one, Entertain Us?
Yeah, I think Manly will get a nice big win here. I think they'll win 40 points to 18. I think the West Tigers have the ability to score points, and I think it'll be an entertaining game, but it'll be Manly all the way. I'm going to take Brad Parker as first try scorer and David Nofaluma to score at any time. Manly 13+ here.
Yeah, nice. I like it. NRL Vids, mate, your boys, the Seagulls. What do you reckon about this one?
Oh, we should win. I think Manly will win 13+ probably. I like Tom Trbojevic for a first try in his return. I reckon Ruben Garrick for time try scorer, and I reckon Jason Saab hat trick.
Oh,
I like it. Anyway, I'm going to go Manly 19+. That'll be too good for the Tigers. Manly 13+. I reckon Turbo will score 2 tries, and I'm going to go a roughie. I'm going to go a big roughie. Josh Alloway to score against his former side off the bench.
Ooh, okay.
He used to play for the Tigers, and when he left the Tigers, there was a bit of shit there between him and the club. So Seagulls 13+, Josh Alloway anytime with Turbo to score a double. Looking forward to that game. Really looking forward to it. The other game on Saturday night up at Suncorp Stadium, having the other game from the doubleheader. Penrith versus Brisbane, 7:35 p.m. Saturday night. Penrith $1.15, Brisbane at $5.50. Entertain House, what do you reckon about this one? Penrith versus Brisbane.
I like the Panthers' big win here. I think Tyrone May had a much better game in the halves against the Warriors than I've seen of him lately. Panthers to win by 22, 38-14. And I'm going to go with Matt Burton, first try scorer. And I think I took Katoni Staggs. No, sorry, I took Reece Kennedy. Reece Kennedy off the bench for the Broncos to score at any time.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. Big one. NRL vids?
Yeah, Panthers probably 13 plus. First try scorer, I reckon Jordan Ritchie will get first try, so the opposing team will get the first one. I reckon Matt Byrne will get a double, and I think also Liam Martin will score a try as well.
I like it. If the Broncos show up like they did in the first half against the Tigers, the game has potential to be close, but I just think the Panthers, they'll have too much class here. Panthers 13 plus, and I reckon Stephen Crichton will get a double. He's up against Hobie Farmworth, who hasn't been defending the best as of late. So Crichton double, Panthers 13 plus. Let's move on to Sunday footy, the doubleheader up at the Gold Coast. First game, 1:50 p.m. on Sunday. Dragons versus Titans up at Seabus Super Stadium. Titans $1.60, Dragons at $2.35. Entertain House, what do you reckon about this one?
I reckon the Titans are going to win a game here. I haven't tipped them in a long time. I'm going the Titans 22-26, high-scoring game. Jamal Fogarty's out, which makes it interesting. I think I took the Dragons to score first, Jordan Pereira, and Big Moe Fodawaker to score at any time. Titans by 4.
Ooh, nice. What about you, NRL vids?
So Dragons win 1-12 in a high-scoring game as well. I think I first try. I think I said Gerard Beale. And anytime try scorer, I'll back him Matthew Fiagi. And for a double, I reckon David Fafita double as well.
I like it. I'm going to go Dragons 13 plus. I think the Titans' new halves combination is a bit of a concern, and they have a different hooker this weekend. So the spine in the combination might be a bit all over the place. So I'm going to go Dragons 13 plus, and I'm going to go Jordan Pereira to score 4 tries on Sunday. 4 tries.
What the fuck?
4 tries. You heard it here first. If there's a market for 4 tries, I'm getting on it. And the other game on Sunday to conclude the doubleheader up at Seabus Super Stadium, it is the Bulldogs up against the Sharks. This is at 4:05 p.m. Sharks are $1.30, Bulldogs at $3.75. Entertain House, what do you reckon about this Doggies and Sharks?
I was close to going the Doggies, but I think the Sharks are a little bit more consistent. So I'll take the Sharks 1-12. I don't think they'll win 13 plus, 26 points to 14. First try scorer, I think I might have gone with Jesse Ramian, and anytime try scorer for the Bulldogs. Actually, sorry, first try scorer I went with Luke Thompson, and anytime I went with Mulatalo. No, sorry, anytime I went with Sione Katoa. First try scorer, Luke Thompson, he'll be paying about $50, and Sione Katoa to score at any time.
Chuck your house on it, everyone. NRL vids, what do you reckon, Dogs or Sharks?
I was close to tipping the Bulldogs. I wasn't far off from tipping them on Tuesday, but I went with the Sharks 1-12. My first try, I reckon Ronaldo will get in for the first try of the match. Anytime try scorers, I think Jake Averillo will get a try. I believe also Sifa Talakai will get a try. And I reckon Ballet on the Otto will get one as well this weekend.
Yeah, okay. Sounds good, bro. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go to the Sharks 13 plus. I think they'll be too good. They'll bounce back from last week. Sharks 13 plus, Talakai double. He'll score a double on the weekend. I love Talakai. I think he's getting better week in, week out. But, yeah, guys, there are our tips. Anything else you boys want to talk about before we get on out of here?
Is this the end? Because I wanted to do a little plug.
No.
A what?
Is this the end? All right, guys. As soon as this finishes, it's premiering right now. Something I've been waiting a month to share with you all. My chat with James Maloney is live right now on my YouTube channel. International player. Just there's so much to talk about throughout his career. So it's been a ton of fun being on here. But guys, make sure you come on over to Entertain House to see my chat with Jimmy Maloney.
Well, the 19 people that are watching this right now, you get your ass over to Entertain House YouTube channel right now. That's exactly where I'm heading. I'm going to go charge my phone, have my dinner, and watch that. Looking forward to it. And then I'm going to go watch Shut the Gates episode of Good Season. So I've got a few things to watch tonight. But, guys, this has been the Rugby Breakdown podcast, episode number 16. Big thank you to Entertain House for jumping on tonight.
No worries, mate. Thanks for having me on.
Really do appreciate it. Also, thanks to NRL Bid 090 for always being here. I'm going to go watch James Maloney on Entertain House's YouTube channel right now, guys. Thanks for watching tonight's show. See you guys later. And, stay safe and all that. And see you later, fellas.